Good morning. Colleague Steve Goodyear shared these thoughts that are certainly worth passing on. Three friends were discussing death. One of them asked, "What would you like for people to say about you at your funeral?" The first of the friends said, "I would like them to say he was a great humanitarian. He really cared about his community." The second guy said, "Well, I hope they say she was a great wife and mother. She was a good example for her family." And the third friend responded, "I would like them to say, look, he's moving." I reckon so. Someone once told of a caring and much loved school nurse who died. This very special lady was well known by the faculty and students. She'd been a part of that school for over 35 years. When the principal announced her death to the children, many of them just began to cry. To help ease their grief, the school counselor had a group of children draw a picture of what that nurse had meant to them. One child filled in her paper with red. She explained, "This is her heart. It's much too big for a paper." At her funeral, her friends and family clapped and celebrated her life. She truly left behind a great legacy of love. How will you be remembered? How will I be remembered? What legacy will we leave behind? I still remember a pastor of a little church in eastern Oklahoma. This guy never did have a humongous congregation, but he sincerely loved the ones who attended his little church. But they weren't the only ones he had loved. That became obvious when on the day of his funeral, every store in that little town closed down for his funeral. Steve Goodyear said that toward the end of his life, author and theologian Elton Trueblood made this observation. He said, "At the age of 93, I am well aware that I do not have many years to live. Consequently, I try very hard to live my remaining years in such a manner that I really make a difference in as many lives as possible." How do I want to be remembered? Not primarily as a Christian scholar, but rather as a loving person. This can be and should be the goal of every individual, to be remembered as a truly loving person. And the reality is this: after you're gone, people may forget most of what you've said, and they will most likely forget much of what you've accomplished. But I tell you one thing, they will remember if you've loved them. I'm Larry Hatfield. Good day.